fallen off my pedestal. Why do I even stand on this? Good morning, BookTube. I'm Span, and I would like to talk to you today about an absolutely fantastic, brilliant book called Ready Player One. Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Now sometimes I get really nervous when I recommend people read a book and I'm like, oh, you should read this book if, or something like that, but I don't care anymore. With this book, I think you should just read it. I think this is a very enjoyable book, and especially a few of my friends I can think of who would really enjoy it. Daiwei, Weaver, Nomi, definitely. If you guys are watching, read this book, okay? I can lend it to you, come read the book. But everyone, seriously, read this book, it's amazing. Why am I so nervous today? I'm so jittery, I'm like, gah! The sun is out for the first time in like weeks. But I really want to talk to you all about this book, and I wrote down some amazing things, and I finished reading it like days ago, and I didn't film anything. Well, one day, yesterday. I finished it yesterday, but instead of filming straight away to just gush and gush and gush, I thought I'd let it seep in, because it was a book that kind of left me going, whoa. Because I really love the concept so much in it, so much. So it's a dystopian future, not too far away actually, in 2040s I think it is. The whole world is kind of, seems a bit poor, and there's still definitely the rich and the poor and everything, but the character we meet lives in the stacks, which are like, what do you call those things? Parks where you, trailer parks, but they're all stacked on top of each other so that they can be closer to basically the internet. There's an alternate reality that's kind of like The Sims, where you plug in and you got your visor and your bodysuit and you go into the world and you level up and you basically live as whoever you want to be. He goes to preschool there, school there. That's his whole, like, second life. So there's this guy who's created the entire program who's like a multi-billionaire, and he has no heirs and he's a bit of a recluse and he doesn't really have any friends or family. So when he dies, he leaves in his will that all of his money and his legacy will be left to whoever can find an Easter egg that he's put into his game. And it basically follows the repercussions of what happens to the people that are playing the game. So yeah, that's a brief synopsis of... Synopsis? Synopsis. That's a brief synopsis. Sorry. That's a brief synopsis of the story. It's really cool, you should get into it. It's so hot today, the sun is out, I can't see a thing. So I really want to thank Bookie Laura, because it was your review of this book that really got me to actually pick it up. Like, I'd seen it around and I was like, oh yeah, that seems like a cool book, I want to get it. And then when you reviewed it, I was like, oh yes, actually, I'm gonna go get that right now. So thank you so much for that, because it's a great recommendation and it's just one of my new favourite books. Definitely my favourite book that I've read so far this year in my challenge. So there's a lot of books in your life that you like, that you think, oh yeah, that's a really good book. And some of them you don't really recommend because it was just a nice read or it was good. But this one I recommend. It was a nice read, it was good, it was deep, it was cool, it was science fiction-y, it was real, it was everything that I wanted in a book. I liked its voice, and the feel of the whole thing was very... I'm just gonna say good. It's a pusher, right? I'm gonna push this book onto basically everybody who likes gaming even slightly. I'm gonna push this book into the hands of my friends and be like, read it. And then they can be like, yes, man, I totally read the book, great. Nomis, I need you to read this book, goddammit. So it reminded me of that movie with Jared Butler in it called Gamer, but in a sort of perverse or different way. Well, maybe perverse isn't the right word. Yes, it was like Gamer, and it was like just playing The Sims to a certain extent, but then it got really awesome. There's a lot of comment on society in it as well, really. Like, a lot. So it's utterly enjoyable, and I really had a lot of good fun reading it, but it was also intense enough and, like, it pushed me enough to make me go, oh yeah, okay, this is what's happening, cool. So I had a really good time reading this book, but I am a nerd, I am a geek, I'm a bit of a gamer. I recently worked out how to mod Skyrim, and it's got a hell of a lot of geek culture references in it. It's basically a little geekgasm for all of the nerds out there. There's a lot of references in here I didn't get, so I think even if you're not a gamer, this book would still be enjoyable, although it might not have that sense of nostalgia that it has for us gamers and people even more gamery than me. It really made me want to be in the world. Even though the world was very problematic, I still wanted to stay in it as long as possible, and I think it would be a really cool dystopian future to have if this was the one that we end up having. I was like, oh, that's awesome. Unfortunate, probably. Yes, definitely. like, it could happen. It just felt a little bit realer than, say, like the zombie apocalypse or something. Even though I have a contingency plan for that as well. Fantastic, brilliant, wonderful, glamorous. It's not really very glamorous. Oh, no. Yeah, no. I can't think of any other big words to use for it at the moment. The ones that I use in everyday conversation have all eluded me. But yes, this book is all of those things. Go read this book now. I'm just gushing now. The nostalgia is strong in this one. Go get it. Go read it. Support this book. I thought it was interesting enough to keep me hooked and entertaining enough to keep me entertained. I didn't want to put it down at all, but I did so I could live in the world longer, but then I had to pick it back up again and read it because I had this struggle, this timing struggle of I want to stay in the book, but I want to know what happens. And that only happens to me with the best books. So for me, this is one of the best books. I think I've gushed enough. Thanks so much for watching, everyone, and I will see you all soon. Okay, how do you turn this thing off?